Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please go watch my introductory video where I explain what I want this channel to be about, a little bit about myself and stuff of that nature. But today I'm gonna bring you my first video, which is gonna be why Joe Biden isn't the right candidate for president. Now, this is a very important topic that I feel like needs to be discussed right away. And this is not going to be overly political, so don't worry if you're not into politics. It's going to be less about the voting records and stuff like that, and more of my analysis as to why you should not vote for Joe Biden. If you're wondering why I'm in my car, it's because, you know, I have like 17,000 family members that live with me, and privacy is like a luxury or something. Let's just get started. Let's get straight into the video. And I do have some notes on my phone, so I'm gonna be looking at my notes. So before we could start with Joe Biden, I want to talk a little bit about Trump. I want to talk a little bit about how Trump got elected, and this has a lot to do with why Joe Biden isn't the correct one. So the first point that I want to talk about is establishment candidates. When Trump first came in the scene, he was seen as a person that wasn't like the rest. He was different. He was honest. He was, you know, blunt about stuff. He came in with, I want the immigrants gone. I want to build a wall. I mean, he never said anything about how any of this is going to happen, and people still took it. Why? Because everybody else was considered establishment candidates. Basically, if you don't know what an establishment candidate is basically what you would, for lack of a better word, the status quo. You know what I'm saying? Your average Joe. That's what the establishment candidate is. So Trump came in as someone that was different, and people loved this. And I think one of the biggest reasons why Trump got elected, and a lot of you may disagree with me on this one, but let's talk about white people, okay? When you look at white people in this country, they feel like, and I'm generalizing right now, so don't come at me, but they feel like they're the superior race. They're the ones with the money. They're the ones with the corporations and the businesses and whatever the case is. So having that, when you look at poor white people, let's talk about poor and lower middle class white people. They're not up there. You know what I'm saying? They're not in the position that they want to be. They're not in the position that they feel like they should be as a white person in this country. So what happens when they have those thoughts and those feelings? Well, they're like, you know what? I think Trump is gonna get me to where I think I should be. Why? Look at how they see immigrants. They're taking our jobs. So they're blaming their position in society on immigrants. They're blaming on the fact that immigrants are taking their jobs, and they feel like they're entitled to those jobs, and if immigrants were not here, they'd be in the position that they should be as white people in this country. So if you look at the people that voted for Trump, a lot of them were poor, lower middle class white people. These are the people that they think Trump was going to get them where they wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? The way Trump spoke about minorities in general. So Trump came in with this attitude of, you know, I don't really care about minorities, this and that, everybody loves me, whatever the case is. Now, I'm not saying all people are racist, all white people are racist, but they kind of liked that. As you saw, as soon as Trump became president, all the racists started coming out of their closet. As soon as Trump became president, all of the racists basically came out of their closet, and they were just having a celebration. They're like, finally we have a president that allows us to be racist. So basically white people saw this as their chance to get up in the world, to, you know, be where they're supposed to be as white people. And so obviously you have the rich white people that also voted for Trump, because why? Trump is going to keep them where they're at. That's what they want. So how does this tie into, let me look at my notes. So how does this tie into why Joe Biden is not the right president? I'm still not going to get there yet. Now we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton. So that's why Trump got elected. Now let's look at Hillary Clinton in 2016. So there's something called electability. What is the concept of electability? Basically, when a candidate is the most electable one, it's basically people saying this is the candidate that I think is going to win against this other candidate. You know what I'm saying? So basically in 2016, Hillary Clinton was the electable candidate. She was the one that's like gonna bring the country together. She's the one that everybody's gonna go out and vote for. Supposedly, that's what she was. She was the electable candidate. Now, what is the problem with this concept of electability? The problem with this is the fact that somebody's looking at me, so I'm trying to pretend like I'm just looking outside. But anyway, the problem with the concept of electability is the fact that some people vote just based off of that. Some people vote just because they think this candidate is going to beat this candidate, therefore that's who I'm voting for. Now, I don't know if it takes a lot for you guys to see why that's a problem. You know, we're voting for the president of the United States. We're not voting for a popularity contest, but apparently that's what people see it as. So Hillary Clinton had a lot of name recognition. People already knew who she was. She was obviously the first lady when Bill Clinton was president. She was a senator for a couple years, so people knew who Hillary Clinton was. She had the name recognition. What else? Okay, I'm gonna get into that topic in a few seconds, but basically she had name recognition, and the news media was basically telling people she's the electable candidate. She's who can beat Trump. This is like one of the biggest things, is she's the person that can beat Trump. When Bernie Sanders was running against Hillary Clinton, everybody kept saying no, he cannot beat Trump because he's crazy, his ideas are too far out there, and whatever the case is. Even though polls showed that Bernie Sanders would have been better at beating Trump than Hillary Clinton, nobody cared about that. Why? Because people don't pay attention to polls. People care about the media basically telling them this is who's gonna beat this other candidate. So that's all that people cared about. The Democrats didn't want Trump to win, and there were Democrats that really loved Bernie Sanders, but they really said, I don't think Bernie Sanders could beat Trump, therefore I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. Anyway, so that is what electability is. Basically the candidate who everybody feels can beat the other candidate, basically the most popular candidate. Let's be, you know, let's be straightforward with that. Another reason why Hillary Clinton got the Democratic nomination is because, and a lot of you are going to disagree with me on this one, but it's because she's female. The feminist movement was up in arms when Hillary Clinton was running. They were up in arms. They were saying, we need our first president. I forgot what her freaking slogan was. I don't know. But basically, feminists were up and out. They were getting everybody to vote for Hillary Clinton. Their biggest thing was, we're going to have our first female president. Now, let's tie in the fact that she had this whole email scandal where, like, she was using her personal email or something like that to get information. Honestly, I forgot what the whole ordeal was, but she had this whole email scandal and nobody cared. The only ones that cared were the Republicans. But the feminists, they didn't care about that. They said, we want our first woman president. And that's a huge issue. So now we have people that are voting either for, one, electability, and that's their only reason for voting for someone. You have two, people that are voting for Hillary Clinton simply because she's female and they want to have their first woman president. And then the third point, why did Hillary Clinton get the Democratic nomination? Because of minorities and their uninformed voting. Now, y'all gonna come at me, and that's okay. But minorities tend to be very uninformed when it comes to presidential candidates. And so Hillary Clinton, they saw Hillary Clinton as someone that was gonna, especially for undocumented immigrants, was gonna bring a path to citizenship or whatever the case was. You know what I'm saying? Minorities, they said Hillary Clinton is the person, the president that's going to help us out. You know, even though we had footage from Hillary Clinton calling young black men that went to prison predators and stuff like that, and her being against gay marriage a couple years back, and all of a sudden she's turning that around because she's running for president. So there was a lot of contradiction in things she was saying, but people didn't care. You know what I'm saying? So there we have the 3 points. She was electable, she was a female, and then she had minorities that were just uninformed about politics that wanted to vote for her. Boom. So we got why Trump won for president. Why Trump won the Republican candidacy, why Hillary Clinton won the Democratic candidacy, and now we're gonna go on to Joe Biden. So let's just start from the beginning. Joe Biden was vice president for Barack Obama. And once people loved Barack Obama, I personally feel like he was okay. He wasn't horrible, but he wasn't like the greatest president ever. But people loved Barack Obama, especially because he symbolized change. So Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president, and once Barack Obama left office, people started making these memes of Joe Biden and Barack Obama and like their love for each other, and like, you know, and in my opinion, I feel like when these memes started coming up, Joe Biden got more recognition from that. I doubt people knew or cared about Joe Biden. He was just vice president. Look at Mike Pence. Nobody cares about him. He's a vice president, but nobody cares about him. So when Joe Biden was vice president, nobody cared about Joe Biden. But then the memes started coming out once Barack Obama left. And those memes not only brought recognition to Joe Biden, but it made Joe Biden look good. Joe Biden is this cute old man that loves Barack Obama, blah, blah, blah. So I think that from those memes, people started hyping Joe Biden up. And that's when Joe Biden ran for president. Because when I heard that Joe Biden was thinking about running for the Democratic nomination, I was a little shocked. I'm like, where did this come from? Because he ran before and he's lost. Why are you going to run, I think, for like the third time? So, you know, that's point number one, the memes. I personally feel the memes started everything, and especially amongst the minority community, these memes, they get taken seriously. So it started with that. Now Joe Biden has the recognition that it takes to be an electable candidate. Now we have all these Democratic candidates, and who's the most popular out of them? Joe Biden. Why? Because you got the memes, you got the vice presidency, he's the most recognizable of all of them. And what else does he have? He's the most electable candidate. This is literally a repeat of 2016. So everybody's saying, I'm gonna vote for Joe Biden because he's the one that can bring the country together. He's the most electable candidate. Now this is exactly what's happening. It's happening again from 2016. It's happening again. And so Trump is gonna be Trump, and then we're gonna have another establishment candidate running for president. Now people are basically saying so if you look at the ideology spectrum, Joe Biden is somewhere in the middle of the left. So we're talking about Democrats. Joe Biden is somewhere in the middle, so he's considered a moderate. To Democrats, Joe Biden is considered a moderate. When you look at Bernie Sanders, he's to the left of that, so he's considered very liberal. People like to call him a socialist, whatever that is. But anyway, so Joe Biden is a moderate. I hear over and over and over again how people are saying, oh, well, the majority of the country, they're moderates or they're independents, and so Joe Biden is going to bring everybody together. They're saying Joe Biden is going to get the Republicans to change their party affiliation and vote for him. Now, Hillary Clinton was not only more popular than Joe Biden, she was a little bit more liberal than Joe Biden, and she was female, which she had the whole feminist movement backing her up. Now we have Joe Biden, who's a moderate, right? When we're looking at the political ideology spectrum, he's more of a moderate. And he has nothing. He has nothing backing him up, nothing special. He's just a moderate. And people literally are voting for the simple fact that he's a moderate, and therefore that equals him bringing the country together. Now, if Hillary Clinton couldn't have done that, and she had way more to give than him, what makes you think Joe Biden is gonna get those votes? I'll wait. He doesn't have anything special. You have Elizabeth Warren with her like childcare, and like everybody's bringing up new ideas. Now Bernie Sanders, he's the original. I don't know why you would want a copy of something, but he's the original. He's the one that has been talking about these ideas for years and years and years. And people, the Democratic Party, the Democratic candidates are taking these ideas that he's been talking about since he was first elected as mayor of Vermont, they're now bringing that up. They're now taking up these ideas, and somehow people are now noticing. You know what I'm saying? So Bernie Sanders is the original. You have Elizabeth Warren, who's bringing her own ideas into it. Who else? You have even Andrew Yang, who's bringing up his own idea of giving everybody $1,000 a month or whatever the case is. Everybody's bringing their ideas to the table. But Joe Biden, he's literally running on name recognition, electability, good coverage from the media, because that's what we're seeing. I can't even count the amount of times that I receive like a monthly thing from CNN, like a monthly analysis, and this analysis is constantly shoving Joe Biden down everybody's throat. So this is what Joe Biden has for himself. You know what I'm saying? If you're actually the type of person that likes politics, if you're actually the type of person that wants to see somebody that's good be president, you know Joe Biden doesn't bring anything. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden is oh my god. Joe Biden is playing it safe. He's not trying to upset anyone, but he's not trying to make anybody happy. There's even a quote. Now, this is a quote from Joe Biden. No one's standard of living will change. Nothing would fundamentally change, the former vice president said at a New York fundraiser on Tuesday. Now, I'm going to get into how he funds his campaign in a couple minutes. But let's just talk about what he said. Like I said, he's not trying to upset anybody. That means the rich are going to stay rich, the poor are going to stay poor, the middle class is going to stay the middle class. Nothing's going to change. Joe Biden is playing it safe. Joe Biden just wants to be president because he's been running for it since he was born. You know what I'm saying? So Joe Biden is not trying to upset anybody. Why would you want somebody that wants to leave things the way they are to be president? Now, I'll let you think about that. Why would you want somebody that just because you feel they're gonna beat Donald Trump, even though Hillary Clinton couldn't, why do you think that he would be a good president? People need to stop being one-issue voters. Stop letting the media tell you how to vote. Stop letting the media tell you what to think. Joe Biden is not the most electable candidate, and he's not gonna bring anything to the table. He's not gonna be a good president, okay? All right. Let me breathe. Now, another thing I want to talk about is another thing that Joe Biden has is the uninformed voters. He has those backing him up. So he has the uninformed voters, he has the moderates, and he has people who vote just because they think he's electable. And then there's people that are just like, I vote for anybody, so whatever. Now I want to talk about the hypocrisy of Democrats. And this is what ultimately I think will get Joe Biden to win the nomination for the Democrats. Joe Biden, not many, I don't know how many women, to be honest, I don't know how many women have come up and said, Joe Biden has made me feel uncomfortable, Joe Biden has, rubbed me the wrong way, and this and that. Women have come forward saying that. And when this came up, the Democrats were like, no, this is just the Republicans, way of demonizing Joe Biden, and Joe Biden wasn't doing anything bad. Like, he made these women feel uncomfortable. Those pictures were cringy. Like, I might post them right here, but those pictures are so cringy. And these women have come forward. And notice how anytime this happens with anyone else, the liberals and Democrats will go crazy over them. But since Joe Biden is Joe Biden, and since Joe Biden is running for president, and since he's the most electable one, we're gonna let it slide. Those women, they're just sensitive. They don't know what they're talking about. The Republicans are just trying to come for Joe Biden, right? So that's such hypocrisy. So to me, that gets me so angry. Like, if you're gonna really talk about this Me Too movement and all of this and whatever the case is, why are you not putting people in their place? That being said, because people let these problems just off the hook, because Democrats are letting these problems off the hook, just like they did with Hillary Clinton's emails, Joe Biden is going to get the nomination. Joe Biden is going to get the Democratic nomination. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about the way he funds his campaign. So I don't really have much to say, but basically he goes to these high dollar fundraisers where he has these very rich donors, Democratic donors, giving him money. He doesn't really want to talk specifics about, you know, who's giving him this money, but look, he's funding his campaign the same way that all these establishment candidates have been funding their campaign, the same way that Hillary Clinton funded her campaign. And then you have, you know, Bernie Sanders getting his small dollar donors. So there's so many things to point to the fact that Joe Biden is just your basic establishment candidate, and that doesn't equal electability. So I want you guys to know that being an establishment candidate, having name recognition, does not make you an electable candidate. Hillary Clinton had everything to win the presidency, and she didn't. So that should tell you more than enough. The fact that we already went through this in 2016 should tell you more than enough. So Joe Biden is not electable. He's playing it safe. He doesn't have any original ideas. He's not coming up with, oh, this is what I'm going to do for the country. This is how I'm going to better the country. Nothing. He's riding Barack Obama's coattails. That's what he's doing. That's pretty much it. My analysis of how this is going to turn out is that Joe Biden is going to win the Democratic nomination and that Trump is going to win the presidency in 2020. Take my word for it. Trump is going to win the presidency. There's only one exception to this. The one exception is if young people, these are the people that have Bernie Sanders back, if young people actually vote. You posting on Facebook, you posting on Instagram, you posting on whatever you post is not going to help Bernie Sanders. Well, it is going to help Bernie Sanders, but it's not going to help if you don't show up to the polls. So unless these young people start showing up and actually voting, Joe Biden is going to get that nomination. Next video is going to be why Bernie Sanders should get the nomination. But thank you so much for watching. If you disagree with me or if you agree with me or whatever the case is, leave a comment down below respectfully, because you know I want to have a back and forth. I want to talk with people that are actually interested in this type of stuff. Leave any suggestions down below as to what you want to see, what you want me to talk about. I do have like some topics lined up, but I want to talk about what you guys are interested in. I know a lot of people wanted to see the vaccines topic or the abortion topic, climate change, but you guys let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.